Let's move further today with some more topics. So, as per the idea, every day we'll discuss 2-3 topics from which almost every time there is a question. So, now we move further with the laws of inheritance as we are going deeper and deeper to the subject. So, primarily in both the exams, CFP and CWM, these are the 3 laws which we are required to study. And of course, these are the only 3 laws which are prevalent. So, first one, if I take in terms of the chronology, so it has been Indian Succession Act. Then Hindu Succession Act is a carved out act from that, and that came in 1956. Okay, so we now read in the sequence. Hindu Succession Act 1956, which governs Hindus, Jain, Sikh, and Buddhists. Yeah, Buddhists are definitely the part of Hindu community, and yes, they are covered in the same act. Now, Muslims have their own personal law, Sharia, as I said yesterday. So they are under that, and that is also we are required to study in detail. And then one more we do have is Indian Succession Act, which is specifically applicable to Parsis, Christians, Jewish people, and as well as Special Marriage Act. We have to study this essentially, but I'll introduce it. So let's say people from 2 different communities, people from 2 different religions, if they marry, then there is always a confusion. Say, for example, like somebody who is a Christian gets married with a Hindu, and they have got different succession norms, then how the things would be taken care of. So in this particular case, they can register their marriage under the Special Marriage Act, and they will fall under the Indian Succession Act. So whatever has been mentioned in the Indian Succession Act will be applicable to them, and they cease to be under their individual religion act. Right? So we have got Hindu Succession Act, Muslim Succession Act, and we have got Indian Succession Act. These are the 3 primary laws which we are going to study in our curriculum. Moving further, now there is always a question on this. I've already kept it important. So we've got Lex Situs and Lex Domicile. So under the Indian Succession Act, the devolution of deceased estate is based on 2 established English principles. So we are looking at Indian Succession Act because we have to look at from somebody who is there in India. Now, Lex Situs or law of the place. So under this particular law, what has been suggested that if there is an immovable property of a person and he dies intestate. Now remember what was intestate. So intestate means he has passed away without making any testamentary arrangement. So testamentary arrangement means he has not written any will. There is no estate planning in place. So he is said to be intestate. So this is the term we have to remember properly, more often used in our exam and syllabus. So now once again, he has got an immovable property and he passes away intestate, then the laws of India will be applicable to for the distribution of that particular asset. So will be regulated by the laws of India regardless of the domicile at death. Now there is always a question. Now what is the concept of domicile or domicile? We'll take care of it. So remember Lex Situs, that is law of the land, I would say. So if immovable property is there in India, the person is not in India, then still the rules of India, laws of India will be applicable for the distribution. And one more is Lex Domicile or law of domicile. So under this particular law, what has been suggested is if there is a movable property, then the distribution or devolution will be based on the law of the country where the person is domiciled at the time of death. Now, this is really very important and expect a question on the same in examination. And for CFP students, it's a must to remember. Right? So Lex Situs, immovable property will be based on the laws of India. That is the law of the land. And Lex Domicile means there is a movable property. Lex Situs talks about immovable property. Lex Domicile talks about movable property. And for movable property, it will be based on the domicile of a person. Now, what is domicile? Understand. There is always a confusion because like ever since I've started teaching all these topics, students always have this confusion. Then what's the difference between domicile and citizenship? So domicile refers to a person's permanent home or place of residence where they intend to remain indefinitely. Right? So I have a house in India and I want to live here permanently, indefinitely, then this is my domicile, determined by physical presence and intent. True, it is determined based on physical presence and intent. Against that, what is citizenship? So by contrast, it's a legal and political status granting membership in a nation or state with associated rights like voting, passport, and obligations like taxes and alliances, right? So this is how you can differentiate domicile and citizenship. Now, tomorrow, what are we going to study? We have got different types of domicile. So domicile of origin, domicile of choice, and by operation of law. And then we'll move on to some other interesting topics like measuring degrees and all. So stay tuned. We'll study further in the next video tomorrow. See you.